Welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Soundbites with Michelle and my very special guest, Care Mycue. So I'm going to read this because, thank you. It's interesting because Care and I connect on a number of levels. Okay, and one of them is she used to be in accounting. I've got a background in finance and accounting, and so that's one. The second one is we met on Mind Valley's AI Mastery. So it wasn't on the mastery; it was a community that was formed after the mastery.
Yes.
And then it's interesting now because you've transitioned from accounting career into you built an online community that just launched, and it's called, and I'm going to read this because it was Cathartic Clarity.
Yes.
I'm super excited about it. And so our topic, though, surprisingly enough, is not about accounting.
Nope.
Okay. But it is the quote that we're going to kick it off with is awareness. There comes choice. And in that, when I hear that quote, Karen and I talked, you and I talked in the background before we met about the topic, the themes, all that stuff going on. And I think what struck me is the impetus for you making the change from accounting to the online community, because you left accounting to be able to dedicate and build this community, is
Yes.
that there became an awareness at a completely different level in your life to where that you made a choice, right? You made a choice to leave accounting. And when you and I talked, and I firmly believe this, is no choice is a choice. So you could have awareness around something and choose to do nothing, or you can have awareness around something and then choose to where I need to take action.
Yes.
And so this resonates with me. And so welcome to the conversation, Care. And
Thank
I would
you.
appreciate if you'd say a little bit more about the online community because AI has a part of that, right?
Yes. Yes. So there's two pieces of it. One is to cater to the more creative people who want to who love journaling and the insights that come through journaling. But then we take that and we use AI once you have that response, that journal response, and get some more deeper clarity about what are my virtues? What are some things that you're seeing come up in here that maybe I'm not seeing myself, that maybe I'm selling myself short, maybe I don't even recognize this in myself. And these generative AI models become these tremendous mirrors that just help us see ourselves more clearly.
It's interesting you say it because my brain went to reflection, unpacking. And I think a lot of times what happens is that we may write stuff and we may write it and leave it.
Yes.
But if what you're talking about, then you created this platform that allows AI to come back and go, hey, let's take another look at what you just wrote. Let's go a little bit deeper with what you just wrote. What can you do with it?
Yeah. So when I take for me it happened. So I was just playing around with it the one day, and I was like, you know what? Let me share some of my old writings that I think there's something there. I don't know. I put it
Yeah.
in, and I said, what's interesting about this? What's unusual? What stands out? What are some virtues that you see nested in here? And it reflected back to me all of this stuff, and I was like in tears at first because I thought,
Oh, wow.
how, how am I selling myself this short? How am I keeping this to myself, gathering dust on my bookshelf? It just seemed like, and I know there's like so many people like me who have this tremendous kind of imposter syndrome that with just a little bit of support with GPT, all of a sudden you understand yourself so differently.
I love that. And it's so I wonder, I have to imagine, and this would be me because it's interesting when I come and talk to people about, I got certified in hypnotherapy and I went to AI mastery and people kind of look at you like, what? And that's how people kind of respond sometimes because to your point, I think we put ourselves and other people in boxes.
Yes.
And especially when you go, and it's so funny, Steve, part of our community, right? He's got an accounting background. And
Yes.
he said that, he hadn't done accounting for 20 years, but he went back and did it and, got back into it. And I looked at him and I remember saying it couldn't have been too tough because accounting has not changed.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, there's been no change to the accounting world. I mean, debits and credits are still nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're talking about is to go from a career that literally your things didn't change. to where you overnight radically stepped into a pretty significant change. What have
Yes.
you noticed about you? Because I know we talked offline about a couple of things. What have you noticed about you in that journey in a relatively short period of time?
Yeah, when I started last fall in the program, I was insecure. I was definitely considered myself an introvert. I wouldn't have been able to sit here and have this conversation right now with you, honestly. And just seeing, if I were to share my writing with you and you were like, oh, that's really beautiful, I'd be like, inside my head, I'd be like, there'd be so much. She's just saying that to be nice. That's just a societal conviction, convention. She didn't really mean it. But when I put it into AI, there's none of that noise. And I can
Oh,
see it reflected back to me because that's all it is. It's just a reflection back. It's not really intelligence, it's just simulated intelligence. So whatever it's reflecting back is a factor of what I'm feeding it. And when it feeds me back such a beautiful response, regardless of what it says, it's like, oh, what I shared must have been really beautiful. And I didn't know that. And so it just helped me get out of my own way and say, I can trust myself and I can trust what I know. And I may not know everything in the world and I won't ever, but there are some things that I do know and there are some things that I can share. And I know that's true of every single person.
it's interesting because I hadn't thought about that aspect here until you just said it, is that if we do share stuff, it's like um, a kid that goes to the parent and says, what do you think of my picture? Or what do you think of what I just wrote? And the parent, most parents are going to go, oh my God, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. How awesome of you, da 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 da. And I never thought that going into the world that we've got, and we do have this, you're just saying that to be nice kind of narrative going
Yeah,
on in our heads, where AI is not going to try and be nice.
no,
Right. I mean, there are pleasant programmings in. It's like I'll get it in the morning and before and it's just a habit I've gotten into. And I think from Vision is or somebody else, one of the other instructors talked about thanking Chat GPT for stuff.
yes,
And I'm in that habit of,
I do that
you know,
too.
thank you, good morning, whatever. And so they'll come back the crafted whatever responses, right? Here to help you. How can I assist you? Good morning. How nice of you to say that. But the reality of it is there's not ulterior motives behind the responses of how AI or ChatGPT is unpacking things or looking at things. And so
Exactly.
you do get out of your own way. You're able to set down this, oh, they're just being nice, to actually look at the feedback that is truly objective
Yes. There are
as
some guardrails in there,
yeah, yeah, that's why I
but
had a question mark on truly objective.
yeah, there
Yeah,
are some guardrails, but they're wide enough. They're so much more wide than the guardrails that we give ourselves.
yeah. So what are you hoping when I think about the online community? Because right now it's just this vision, this very elusive concept for me, right? Because I'm not touching, feeling anything.
Sure.
But what's your ultimate vision, Care? If you look out 2 to 3 years is a good chunk of time for me that I think about. And maybe with AI, you're looking at 6 to 12 months, maybe 6 to 12 months, and then
Yeah.
2 to 3 years. What's your vision for this? What is the impact that you look back and you know what, that hit it, that did exactly what I thought it would do?
Yeah, it's multi-layered. So on at a very big, human level, I just want people who have felt creatively blocked and self-sabotaging and imposter syndrome to get that out of their language and share what they know because that is just we need more humanity right now.
Mhm.
And then the next layer is as these heart-centered, humanistic focused people start sharing what they really know about life, what they see about life, it's going to flood these large language models with so much perspective that they don't have right now. And that is just going to change the responses to what everybody gets it, when the corporations are saying, what products should I make? Or the government is saying, what
Mhm.
policy should I make? It's going to be informed by my my language, my perspective in some kind of way. And if I can flood that, like I said, with a global, unique, differentiated perspective, considering everybody, not just one person or not just one
Mhm.
group of people, I think we're going to live in a different world in 3 years.
It's interesting you said that, because the thing is, it learns, it informs, and the
Yes.
world, unless you're downloading and having it within your own, sphere of VPN, whatever it is, you're off internet on that end of it. It is open to everything else, and there is learning and perspectives going on. And when you talk about that stuff, um, what hit me is there are so many people out there that are, I'm not going to say hiding, because hiding feels um like something, but there are so many
Mhm.
people out there that are not sharing the rest of who we are, right? Creatively or anything else. And so it's interesting when you say that, because the other thing that came to mind for me is May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm.
And you are probably the fourth person I've had on the podcast that's leadership soundbites, that there is a mental health aspect to what you're talking about, a strong one. And others too. And I sat here and I'm thinking, holy cow, the stuff that drives us, that I end up connecting with people, and topics end up around this space of how do we step into who we really are? How do we not shut down the rest of who we are? How do we, come in and feel safe and secure and welcomed into this space of, hey, I've also got this stuff that I've been thinking about or working on, because that contributes all to our mental health. It's like, are we sitting back going, I'm going to sit here and leave this physical body, and I've left all this stuff on the table?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what the community is for. So rather than being out in the public social media, I'm creating this private incubator for us to come and share what we see and then support each other in this beautiful way. Because when I share my journal response, it's going to like trigger people. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. But I'm not doing it for that, but it is nice to hear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's going to create a whole different kind of dynamic and community and change the conversations that we get to have. And now when we feel more comfortable having those conversations just on a private public forum,
Hmm.
now we're like, okay, I do have something to say. I've been gaslighting myself. I've been allowing the world to gaslight me, and I don't feel like I need to anymore. I can let that go. And now I can just stand more clearly in my life and say, I really value my career, but there's something more I got to do here. And it's now or never. This is the time. This is the decentralization of technology has just opened the playing field for everybody to step up and, you know, side, earning income, time and economic freedom is no longer just a nice idea. It's now inevitable for anybody who's got clarity, conviction, and just consistency.
Oh, the three C's.
Yeah, I'm
The
huge
three
on
C's.
alliterations.
Clarity, conviction, and what was the last one?
Clarity, conviction, and consistency.
Consistency. I
If you show
love
up every
that.
day, that's all people want. They just want to know that when I tune in, you're there.
Yeah, I love it. So granted, I'm back to the fact that I don't know what it is, right? So what are the aspects of the community that, because what I'm hearing is there's an
Oh,
individual component of it to where I'm able to key in or share, this is my stuff. This is who I am, this is my thinking, whatever. And then AI will reflect back perspectives, thoughts, virtues, whatever it is. Then there's the community aspect of it, to where I'm assuming people have a choice whether or not they
yes,
share what their stuff is.
100%.
And so now you're engaging across with others to get feedback, because it can be scary.
Yes.
If you've gone here, chat's safe, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to go, okay, I'm brave now, braver, right? And I'm going to go
Yes.
into this community. Um, within the community, are there ways to gravitate toward people that are air quote your people? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So I think mixing in this AI component, again, it's optional, but
Yeah,
when you see, oh my God, I want to try too. And oh, look what I did. Yeah, look what I did. And create an image inspired by my journal response. And it's
yeah,
like, whoa, that's so powerful. And then there's going to be this other side of it though, where I'm actually teaching prompt design and custom GPTs. And so there's the every Saturday, come and do a live session with me. We're going to talk about journaling and that side of it. But then I'm going to
yeah,
have another live session another day of the week where we're going to talk about let's do prompt design. Let's look at some ways that you can prompt creatively to get better responses, better insights about your own curiosities or
yeah.
blindnesses.
I love it. You're taking me back to the course we went through. Was it 5 months, 5.5 months, something like that? Yeah.
And how
And it was
engaged
the
were we
light.
all?
Yeah, well, and it was freaking drinking from the fire hose. I mean,
Yes.
it was like, oh my God. So you're taking me back to the stuff that we went through. And in all that stuff you're talking about, Care, it gives people freedom to explore and express in different ways, because a lot of times, because it literally is a language, right? It's like when you're engaging with somebody, it would be like, I have friends from Japan, great, wonderful friends from way back when, because I was a kid that lived in Japan because my dad was in the Air Force. And there's frustration because I have lost, I mean, I spoke Japanese when I was in Japan 50 years ago. But I've lost that. It's not at the forefront of my brain. And so it's hard when we get on the phone because they know English, broken English. I know English and very little, conversational Japanese. But it's got to be the same frustration. So for me, by the way, in case people are like, idiot, go get Babel or something else and get back. And I will. It's on my list because they're going to come visit in October. But the thing is, it's almost like chat. People hear about it or hear about OpenAI, but don't know how to engage in an interaction, right? I.e., conversation with ChatGPT. But this would allow people then to step in and start engaging in a conversation, communication, interaction where they previously would have been blocked.
Yes.
It was a long way of saying that. So
Yeah.
my
Well, and
brain, you just heard my
but
brain thinking through all that stuff.
the other piece of it though is that most everybody else out there, when they're talking about, hey, let me teach you Chat GPT, they're talking about, let me teach you how to make more content better, faster, easier. And
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. I'm saying let's learn about ourselves better, faster, and
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Um, so this is cool. This is cool. What I love is this crazy blend of stuff
Yeah.
with technology and your the very practical way that you think, but this creative space that you've stepped into. And it's this blend of all that stuff. And I'm freaking excited for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I am
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I'm stoked. This is going to be cool. So Kara, thank you for your time.
Sure.
Question I have for you is what one or two things do you want people to walk away with?
So yeah, finding your unique impact. Our personal journeys are blueprints for innovation, and life experience, in my assessment, in my view, is going to be the most valued commodity in the future. People are going to want live people saying real things. And so it's easier now than ever to build a platform around that personal journey. Like I said, it's just simply a matter of clarity, conviction, and consistency.
I love those three C's. I love it.
Mm.
It's interesting when you and I are talking because I go back to the original quote of what is it? With awareness, there comes choice. You got exposed to awareness on a number of different levels. And I think leaders, humans, if you will, we get exposed awareness about things a number of different levels. I think my thing that I would add to this is don't make the choice of no choice, no decision, right?
Yes.
Don't make the choice of status quo when things present themselves and opportunities and you feel it in your soul that, you know what, I need to do something different. And it doesn't mean that you leave your day job, okay? But do some exploration. I'm not
Yes.
saying you did the wrong thing, but what I'm saying is a lot of times people are too afraid.
Yeah.
So dip your toe in it, do some exploration, figure out what it is. When the awareness strikes that you've got, you know what, there's something here that I want to unpack and learn a little bit more about.
Can I
Yeah.
add one
Oh,
little
yes,
tidbit on that?
please. Please.
What kept me stuck for 15 years in my day job was this financial insecurity that I've brought with me since my childhood.
Yes.
And when I finally made the decision to end my career, and I was clear about that in my mind, come what may, I'm doing this. The financial insecurity went away. It was like I have no income, but I'm not insecure. And it was just this mind flip that couldn't happen until I actually took that step.
Yeah. Um, it literally went from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
100%.
And yeah, and here's what happens when we make that shift is we attract what we're projecting out.
Mm,
So if we have a scarcity mindset, we're literally in that lane. I mean, you're literally going to keep it's self-perpetuating. You have
yeah,
an abundance mindset and you don't worry about it, then that's what you're attracting. And
yeah,
it is literally a flip of a switch.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
love it. Thank you.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this. So thank you. This is Leadership Soundbites with Michelle and Care. I'm going to put Care contact information on how people get a hold of you to figure out, the community if they have an interest in the description. So please like, share, subscribe. There's a little bell for notification if you want to get it when new episodes drop. But anyway, have an awesome day and I look forward to next time. Thank you.
Thank you.